Okay, welcome. It's still good morning. Good morning. Welcome to those of you that have just joined us, and welcome back to those of you that were just with us about 15 minutes ago. This kind of segues into all coordinator training, but before I begin, my name is Tamira McCullough. I'm on the public sector campaign team at United Way of Central Ohio. But before I go any further, I wanted to introduce our 2012 campaign team, but perhaps I'll do that once we get them all in the room. Couple of housekeeping tips if you haven't already discovered. Restrooms are out of this door, straight back to your left near the cafeteria, which I don't have to mention. It kind of speaks for itself. If we could all remember to either put our cell phones on vibrate, silence them, whatever works for you. This is an informal presentation, so if at any time during the presentation you have questions, comments, concerns, this afternoon or later this morning, or just now, we've had our tenured coordinators join us. And so at the end of this training, they are going to get an opportunity to share their experiences, their success stories. Maybe they're not so successful stories. Please don't try that. It's not going to work. They'll get a chance to share that with our new coordinators who spent the morning learning the structure and the nuts and the bolts of the campaign. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce our 2012 co-chair, Director Robert Blair, with the Department of Administrative Services, and he has a couple of words that he would like to share with you. Director Blair?
I speak softly, so I'll use this. First of all, welcome. Thank you for being here. This is fantastic. Eric, thank you for preparing comments for me, but I'm not going to use them. Sorry, Eric. He really works hard for me. I feel bad so much effort into things, and then I don't use your comments, so I'm sorry. It also kind of feels like Old Home Week. I served a lot of years in this building, as Stephanie well knows. And I see a lot of familiar faces out there. Thank you for being here, Shannon. Shannon's always a hard worker. He worked with me and for me for a number of years, and I appreciate that. And I'll let a few other people come on in. I see Jessie there. Thank you for being here today, Jessie. She tells me not to acknowledge her name, but I will and embarrass her. Jessie's a good lady. She serves on a lot of things with us. Let me just say a couple of words about the work that you folks do that is so fantastic. There's not a person in this room, there's not a person in this building, there's not a person in this state that hasn't been touched by some of the work that you guys do. You know, it wasn't too long ago I had my beloved sister that died from lymphoma. Well, you know, the fact that some of the work that CCC did helped her live a lot of extra years, and if it hadn't been for the work and some of the charitable things that we all do, her last years were great, and, you know, hopefully we continue along. We're going to be able to eradicate a lot of these things, and we'll all live to 80 years old and be perfectly healthy up to the last date. But we know that's not reality. And that's why we need to continue the efforts that we do as Ohioans and Americans to continue to contribute and to help people that aren't as fortunate as us, or they get sick, or things that happen. And that's why this is incredibly important work that we do. There's just not, you know, in America, this whole business of charity, we're far better than other countries. And so I want to say thank you for the work that you do. It's incredibly important. And, you know, without you guys, just think how much worse it would be. So I want to say thank you, and I'm looking forward to a real successful event, and I guess a number of events, but I'm looking for a real successful season that we can give a lot of money to people that need it. And with that, I'd like to have Kelvin Jones, my compatriot, come on up. I love how he dresses. He's a cool dresser. Come on up here, Kelvin. Do you want the microphone, or are you going to speak behind the podium?
Don't matter.
All right, I'm going to give him the microphone. Here you are.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Director Blair, other panelists. I am the labor co-chair. Has been the labor co-chair for several years now. This is so important. This is the time that we put our differences aside for the dynamic work of giving to charities. You know, you can find a reason not to, and you can find a reason to give. But the most important thing is giving to someone less fortunate than you are. And I think we are all fortunate right now because we still have a job. And so compared to whether or not you are labor or you're part of management, this is the time to set your mind aside for whatever reason you can find not to give, and give till your heart is content. I'm gonna stay on that for a minute because the elephant in the room is that we always talk about, well, we can't give, I'm about to lose my job, I don't know what's going on, what have you. Aside of that, when you walk downtown, there's somebody that's asking you for some change, got a cup, a paper cup, a tin cup or something. You know, you got mental health people who no longer inside a facility, walking the street, make you scared. You want to get on the other side of the street. You know, you got sick parents at home. You got family members that need help. And this is our avenue. This is a partnership with the charities right here. When, as a union leader, you got a member that's in trouble, and you wanted the leadership, guess what? They coming to you for some results. These are my partners right here sitting in this front room, because I cannot go back to my members and say, I can't help you, when I know that we have over 2,000 charities in a book. That's our guideline, that we can go and get whatever we need out of that book to help our members. And that doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you in labor or you in management. That is about public service. That is just an additive for what we do every day of servicing the citizens of Ohio. And so we have a little asset that has been carved out with our partners. So whether it's Alzheimer's or diabetes, heart attacks, strokes, you name it, whatever it is, you can find it. Well, if your compelling is not about human beings, it's also about animals. It's about the environment. Whatever you need is in that book. So let's put our differences aside for this time. Everyone, all the old members here know I've always said, I am your biggest cheerleader. Whatever you need from labor, all you got to do is call. So for our new members today, our new coordinators, just take this today. I am your biggest cheerleader. Whatever you're doing in your agency or institution, all you have to do is let your coordinators know. They can get a hold of me, and I'll be there. I'm representing CCC for both management and labor on this part of trying to show up to your events to give an official face to your campaign. So let's go have fun. Thank you.
Thanks, Calvin. Today we also have, in terms of leadership support and the collaboration, that leadership and union leadership comes together in terms of the CCC. We have Director Kevin Miller, and Director Miller is with the Ohio Rehabilitation Services Commission, and he has a couple of words that he'd like to share with our 2012 campaign team as well. Director Miller?
I like that Tammy started leading the clap. She works for me up at Rehab Services. So, Tammy, we'll make sure your check comes first when it gets inputted. I appreciate the fact that I was volunteered to do this today. I joke with Bob. He says, hey, let's have Kevin say a few words, and I am the last to know about it because I think he knows that I feel pretty passionate about the CCC campaign. I've been a state employee for almost 20 years now, and believe it or not, I grew up on the hilltop. And for those of you, I know maybe the suit and tie will maybe paint a different picture of what you think I went through, but being the youngest of 7 from a very large Irish Catholic family, and by the way, both my parents were card-carrying Union members, and we were raised in the house where John F. Kennedy sat right next to the picture of Jesus. So being here from the West Side, it's always good to come back to the hilltop, and one of the things that early on that my mother instilled in us very early, we didn't have a lot of money. But when the telethon was going on, she said, get your you-know-what out there with a Folgers coffee can and get out there and start collecting change. She put a very strong sense of service into us, even though we didn't have a lot. We didn't really realize we didn't have enough. We just thought hand-me-downs were part of the deal, But even though that we wouldn't ask for help because our mom would say, oh, no, we don't ask for help. We've got it just fine. We're going to do things to help others. I think that has carried all of us kids who didn't end up in TICO like our relatives did. For those of you who are from the West Side here, TICO used to be the juvenile prison system. So nowadays people say, we always thought you used to have something to do with TICO because I worked at DYS. They used to say, we just thought you'd be on the inside. I said, yeah, I did, but I got the get out of jail card for you to get out. A lot of things changed for us, being having family members. I had a sister who was born with a severe craniofacial disfigurement. She had no upper part of her jaw, and this was back in the 60s before I was born. I was the youngest. And that was something that from an early age, we had a lot of assistance from people. And to this day, one of the charities that I give to and have since I've started is Operation Smile. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that actually is a program that provides surgeries to close. Basically what happens is you have nothing here. If you've ever seen it, it's pretty graphic. And my sister's was very severe. And she's probably had, I'd say, over her lifetime, 25 or 30 surgeries. But when she was a young child, you can imagine in the 60s being taunted that she did. Of course, my mom had her own form of street justice that we used to do for people who picked on her. But to this day, I give to Operation Smile as a part of that. And once I became married and had a child of my own, I about 10 years ago, have a son who's 13 now and was diagnosed with autism, and my whole world changed. For the first time in my life, and I'm sure there's a lot of parents in here, you realize you think you know what charity is until you have to face some of the adversity that some of these parents have, and you think you have it the worst in the world, and then you go and you see, children that are more severely autistic than my son. Or you see a child with cerebral palsy and you think that's the worst thing in the world, and then you see a child that can't communicate at all. So I always say, I appreciated Calvin's comments when he said, all of us could have an excuse. I say that to my leadership team. Everybody here has got a story. I remember watching Michael J. Fox, who, as most of you know, is dealing with a pretty severe disability that has pretty much robbed him of his career. And he said, he was really angry and didn't want to share his feelings about charity and didn't want to have charity. And he was in a group, and the therapist was talking about, I want everybody to tell their story. You tell us the worst sob story you can tell us about how your life is terrible, how you're, whatever's going on with your children, with your partner. And you tell us and let's share these things. And at the end, let's see who's willing to trade. And he said at the end, everybody said, I'll take mine back. And so what I think that shows is that everybody here has to have faced adversity. There isn't one person in this room. There isn't one person that's got that family member. Hey, look, you come from a large family. You know you got somebody who needs help, you know. I think I have my one brother who's on speed dial who calls me. And what's important, though, is that sometimes I know I'm willing to help folks who can't help themselves. You know, that's where I think there's a special place for people like that who do that. And I'm telling you, it's something that I don't look at CCC as like, oh, it's another thing we got to do during the year or anything like that. I'm sure Miss Maxon is going, oh, no, I can't believe I wanted to do that for the director, because she's all excited about it. And I said, I'm glad, because this isn't about maintenance for me. This is about, I want to do some exciting stuff. I mean, last year, I challenged everybody in my agency to beat me in Guitar Hero. If you know what Xbox is, I'm undefeated. So, and we had a lot of fun, and that's what it should be. It should be about community. It should be about everybody coming together. And, you know, I'd like to look at it more about, not about, you know, putting aside labor management differences. We've got way, way, way more in common than we have that's not in common. And I think this is just a positive thing all the way around. No matter who you are, pick something that you feel passionate about. Everybody does. My mother, who I mentioned earlier, God rest her soul, who passed away 5 years ago, till the day she died, every week she would give $20 to the St. Vincent de Paul Society, which is a Catholic organization to help homeless people. And when she died, we said, instead of flowers, donate to the St. Vincent de Paul Society. So I think that when we talk about what we're trying to do here, this isn't about maintenance. We had people last year who did work. Maybe some of you were that. It's not about taking what someone gave you last year and just maintaining. We need to take what we did last year and increase it, enhance it, make it funner, make sure people understand how important it is in this day and age, in this economy, that we help others, and make sure that next year they go, man, they really set the bar pretty high for us. You know what? Money is only one part of this. As I always said, it's real easy to write a check sometimes. I know sometimes I go, you know what? I don't want to have to go volunteer. Just do you want $10? I'll give you $10. You want $25? I'll give you $25. Giving your time is way, way, way more valuable than sometimes writing a check. And you guys are giving your time. So that's important. Really be efficient with your time. Make it worth your while, so that way your agency and this campaign's getting everything they can out of it. So I'm going to shut up, because I've always learned that if you're brief, people go, he wasn't so bad, you know? So I appreciate you guys being here, and hopefully they'll cut you loose early. So thanks a lot, and good luck, everybody.
Thank you, Director Miller. I'm going to kind of back up a little bit. We now have our 2012 campaign team here. On your name tag, you all have campaign liaison. This is going to be, this is our 2012 campaign team, your campaign liaison. I'm going to introduce them to you, but this is the person you're going to want to connect with before you leave today. This is the person that's going to serve as a valuable resource to you throughout the campaign. So we have Yvonne Foster Smith. We have Francis Henderson. We have Warren Meisner. Mark Hurt. And Audrey White. And as I said earlier, they are all in a place we all hope to be. They are retired public sector employees, and they come back to grace us with their presence at this time every year to work on the campaign. And so we really, really, really appreciate the time they spend for about the next 3 or 4 months. We will appreciate next 3 or 4 months working on the campaign. We also have Janine Toole. Most of you have communicated with Janine, met Janine. Janine, come in. Come on in. So you've already, either this morning you've heard from Janine or you've had some sort of interaction with her as you've come in through the registration process. We talked about the federations a little bit this morning, but we have a number of federations that are here with us today. They're all going to spend a couple of minutes. They're passionate. They're very passionate. And so if you talk to them at the tables out front, outside, then you know they're passionate. But I'm sorry, we're all going to spend a couple of minutes telling the group about their individual missions in terms of their charitable organizations, and then they'll still be around after the training if you'd like to take some time to visit with them afterwards. So, Ryan? Okay. You can introduce yourself.
Thank you, Tamara. And I was hoping I wouldn't go first, but I'll definitely keep it brief. My name's Ryan Miller. I'm Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity of Ohio. And I just want to begin by saying thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you for all the hard work that you put in with this campaign. I am a former State of Ohio employee and had the pleasure of serving as a campaign coordinator, much like you do. So I know the time commitment that's put in and really want to thank you again. The great thing about the campaign, as all of you know, is you really can't make a bad choice. You're going to hear from some great federations that do wonderful work, but I wanted to share a little bit about Habitat for Humanity. Habitat for Humanity of Ohio is an umbrella organization, a federation with the campaign that represents the interest of 67 Habitat affiliates in Ohio. What we do is support them through fundraising efforts, advocacy, and training. I'd like to give you a little bit of overview on the actual Habitat program, because I think some people think we just give homes away, right? Well, that's very far from the truth. What we do is actually provide a hand up, not a hand out. We offer home ownership opportunities to families that are willing to partner and that are living in substandard conditions, and we offer mortgages at 0% interest. Our principles are based on helping our neighbors and expect nothing in return, thus the 0% interest. We've built 500,000 homes worldwide, with 4,000 here in Ohio, and we're in 90 countries serving 3,000 communities. And thanks to Habitat, we are serving a family somewhere in the world every 7 minutes. We have a very low overhead for our state office, so you know your donor dollars are going to good use. We have a less than 4% overhead. And I also want to talk a little bit about our tithe program. The way we're able to build in 90 countries is what we receive in, as far as contributions, we send that out to underdeveloped countries. Our tithe partner is Ethiopia, and that we've built 15 homes in Ethiopia through our state office. A Harris poll came out, which is a national study, and it ranked Habitat as the second strongest brand in the country, and that is primarily because we are good donors of, good stewards of donor dollars, and I'll actually have a tremendous volunteer base that helps us do what we do. Why I'm drawn to Habitat is particularly what we do for children. There are studies actually done by Ohio State University that shows that children of homeowners demonstrated improved test scores and reduced behavioral problems, and we also have a 25% higher graduation rate with children that live in stable living conditions. And right now there's 1.9 billion children living in the developing world, with 640 of them in slum-like conditions and without adequate shelter. So in closing, I just want to thank all of you for what you do. Ways to help: you can always donate to Habitat, but as the gentleman also said, you can also give your time. Mr. Miller hit the nail right on the head, and that's an analogy we like to use with Habitat. But and you can also shop at the Restore. We have 2 Restore locations here in Columbus. Just call 614-RESTORE. You can donate to the Restore, and what they do is sell those gently used items to the public. It is open to the public, so if you're looking to rehab your home, it's a great way to go and get a very discounted price on some of your home improvement projects that you're looking for. So thank you very much for your support, and we look forward to working with you in the campaign. I want to thank all the individuals. I had the pleasure of working with Mark last year, and fine gentleman, and thank to all of you for donating and your time and volunteering for this great effort. Thank you so much.
And so if you all, you can introduce yourself as you come up. You just want to kind of keep it going.
Come on. Hi, good morning. I'm Linda Pollan with Earthshare Ohio. Who's for clean air? Yay! Clean water, yay! Those are some of the issues that Earthshare Ohio member organizations are working on, not only here in Central Ohio, in Ohio, across the world, and across the United States. It's what we're all about: environmental education, providing information to people about the issues that affect all of us through the environment and conservation. I want to read you a story. There were two young women who decided to take a trip through Ohio last July, a year ago. Their names were Carrie and Nicole. They decided they wanted to use the Ohio to Erie Trail Fund to go from Cincinnati through Columbus all the way to Cleveland, riding their bikes. So they wrote a little thank you note once it was done. They said, "Thank you from trail riders. We just wanted to thank you for all your efforts to create such an amazing trail. My friend and I rode the entire trail from Cincinnati to Cleveland from July 8th through July 12th on bikes. We packed our bikes with camping gear. We camped in Xenia, Alum Creek, Howard, and stayed in a motel in Massillon, and arrived in Cleveland on the 5th day, so it took them 5 days to do it. It was an amazing experience and one we won't soon forget. Thanks again. Looking forward to seeing the trail progress in coming years and maybe a few less hills, ha. We did a lot of bike hiking through Holmes County. For those of you who haven't biked, Holmes County is pretty hilly. And I would agree with bike hiking. You know, sometimes you just can't make it up the hill. You're going to walk it up. But this is just one of the many stories that my member organizations have about the programs and services that they provide to our communities here in Ohio and across the United States. Clean air, clean water, wildlife rehabilitation, environmental education. That's what we're all about. So I want to say thank you to everybody who's sitting in this room. Thank you so much for the effort that you're going to make and that you have made before if you're seasoned coordinators on our benefit. And when I say ours, I mean all of the federations, all of the nonprofit organizations that are involved and participate in the state CCC. So thank you so much for your effort. Talk to you later.
Now you can tell them I gave them all directions because they're following them. I don't even like to drive from Cincinnati to Cleveland. I can't imagine doing that on your bike. Good morning. I'm Mike Ryan with Community Health Charities of Ohio. I have the advantage of speaking fast. So we're an umbrella organization for health charities, and I want to focus on 5 of them, 5 that are new to the Combined Charitable Campaign, at least under our umbrella. I'll start with Flying Horse Farms. Up in Mount Gilead, Ohio, Morrow County, about an hour, 10 minutes from downtown Columbus. It is a camp for children who are medically fragile. Some of you might be familiar with what were once called the Hole in the Wall Gang camps that were started on the East Coast by a little-known actor known as Paul Newman, who was the salad dressings and all the profits go to that Hole in the Wall Gang. These kids are kids who could never have the opportunity to go to a day camp because they need doctors around them. This camp provides them that opportunity. It's a tremendous organization. Caring Bridge. Some of you might be familiar with Caring Bridge. Frankly, I wasn't, and then I discovered that I knew all these people who were on Caring Bridge. Caring Bridge is a website that allows people who are in a medical fragile condition to post information about their condition. You send the link out to family and friends so that they can get an updated thing. And you know, in this world where we're not all living a block and a half away from our mothers and aunts and uncles, this is a great way to communicate that information. They also offer a support calendar, which if you have anybody who's on a hospice or any other kind of terminal or chronic condition, a great way to get support for that individual. Be the Match Foundation. I'm an ABC News junkie, so I love Robin Roberts, and a few weeks ago she came out and indicated she was going to have a bone marrow transplant because of treatment for her breast cancer. She got a rare blood disorder condition. Be the Match Foundation. Hundreds of thousands of phone calls the next day. You know why? Because they match people who need bone marrow. Be the Match Foundation is critical in terms of identifying people to match minorities and African American community and the Hispanic community particularly. American Heart Association is one of our new members, and I said 5. Oh, University Hospitals in Cleveland. I think you all know what hospitals do, but those are just a couple of our new charities, and whoever's up next should be walking towards the podium now.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yenny. I'm representing Global Impact. Won't take too much of your time, but I wanted to just kind of let you know what Global Impact does. We represent actually over 58 wonderful member charities, and I don't know if, oh yeah, I know, I'm so short. I'm like, I was like putting my hand. But I wanted to let you know that, these charities some of them are extremely dear to my heart. If you've seen, just a real quick personal story, if you've seen one of those infomercials from World Vision or what have you, doing the works everywhere in Asia and Africa, I was at some point one of those children that they help. So the fact that I'm standing here today is a great testimony that your donation, your time, your effort makes a difference, a tremendous one at that. I have this little samples of a nourishment kit called Plumpy Nut. It actually only costs about 80 cents, and when I volunteered last year in Kenya for some of the refugee children, this 80-cent packet makes a huge difference sometimes in life and death, and I can see it firsthand because these children would be extremely malnourished, and then these emergency kits really help them tremendously. So I think just wanted to kind of give you a perspective of sometimes, a lot of us think, I can't even buy a Starbucks for $2.50 per pay period. I mean, how am I going to make a difference in people's lives? But you do. So I encourage you to check out our charity.org website, and please feel free to see me at the table if you have any more questions. But again, I appreciate all of you for being here, for supporting all these great charities, and for making a huge difference in people's lives. Thank you.
My name's Emily Ng, and I'm with the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. Many of you may be familiar with Make-A-Wish. We grant the wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions. It is a popular misconception that we only we only grant the wishes of those who are terminal, but it's not. Many of ours go on to be survivors. Many go on to make wish stars like this that we love to keep. This is from Hallie. She's 4 years old, but she is 5 years old, and her condition is in remission. So our chapter, last year we granted over 853 wishes, and we are the largest wish granting organization in the world. We grant wishes every 28 minutes. The wishes include to have, to be, to meet, to go, and anywhere from going to Australia, that's a wish happening, to meeting Justin Bieber in the States. So, a bit more about our foundation. These wishes, a lot of people think it's just like a free vacation. They just wanted to go to Disney World. They just wanted to meet Mickey Mouse. They just wanted to go to Hawaii. But it's not true. 98% of parents who have gone on their wishes say it's more than like a trip. It's more than just having a pool. It is about making time to have a family together. So many of these children, the illness becomes the center of the family. The illness runs that family's lives. It struggles to tear them apart. It struggles to make everyone feel included. But these wishes bring the families back together. These wishes make them feel like they have something to live for, they have hope, they have strength, they have joy in their lives again. So I invite you to donate to our organization. I am one of an America's Charities organization. And of course, like donating to this, it really does a lot. Your dollars, they do more than that dollar. These dollars are matched by grants. They were matched through volunteer hours, and so every little bit does count. So thank you.
Well, I am Joan Fluharty. I am the Director of Community Services from United Way of Central Ohio. And again, I want to thank all of you for taking on this challenge to help people give in the workplace, and that you know how important that is. United Way of Central Ohio, we have 4 building blocks that we focus on: education, income, health, and home. And we kind of look at those as like a bar stool of those 4 steps. Bar stool, or stool. Yeah, where was I last night? You kick one of those out from the corner of the stool, and there we are. So, yeah, so with all, yeah, I got Mike down here in the front. He's always fun. So in education, we have set up bold 10-year bold goals. So we work on education, on early childhood development before children enter kindergarten. We work on high school graduation rates. In the income area, we're looking for people to become more financially stable, and ensure that people have access to emergency services. In the healthcare there, we want to see that half of the percentage of people in Franklin County without regular health care source are able to get that. It continues to go on. Then with the home, making sure people have safe neighborhoods. So with that, through United Way, you can make a real difference here in our community. So we would like for you to consider our charity. We would appreciate if you'd stop by and pick up. It has what our bold goals are. And we are working to improve lives and strengthen our community. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gloria Jones. I'm the campaign administrator for Community Shares of Mid-Ohio. We've been around for 19 years, and we represent over 60 charities. They cover areas, what we're looking for is social change, and included in that could be animal welfare, there's social justice, violence prevention, Ohio Alliance for the Arts. We have several different categories, and our goal is to connect you with issues that you care about. So if you would pick up one of these and open it completely up, you'll see all of our charities and all the different areas that we represent. I really appreciate the effort that you all are putting in to get the word out to help people. See, we help people by helping charities, and the charities help people. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Barbara Sykes, President and CEO of Ohio United Way. Why do we do what we do? We do what we do because we understand poverty. We understand the difficulty that individuals are facing every day. Why? Because quite often most of us have been in those situations. I come to you today as a child born to young parents in the South. My father had a third grade education, and my mom had a 10th grade education, and 8 children. So it was tough going. And I found myself in a situation where we quite often needed assistance. My dad was so proud. In no way was he going to have anyone give us anything. In my senior year of high school, our house, a storm came through in Arkansas, flat land, and destroyed our home. And I can remember listening to my mom and dad talking about, what are we going to do? We had to leave. We could not go back to our home. So we moved uptown on the hills with family members, but it was just too many of us. And my mom talked to my dad about, we need to go uptown because I hear that there's people that can help us. And my dad said, no way. She said, it's not welfare. It is helping us. We give when we can. Now we need help. So my dad finally said, okay, let's go see what this is about. And when we got there, it was Red Cross. And they helped my family in a way that I would never, ever forget. So I stand here today as the president and CEO of Ohio United Way because I understand what it means. So today, you're not just simply giving today. You are building and planting seeds for tomorrow. And how do I know that? Because I'm one of those seeds. I thank you on behalf of the United Ways across the state of Ohio, on behalf of all the federations sitting here, and for the future Barbara Sykes that you have planted seeds for to allow us to say we will continue to help, we will continue to move forward, and we will continue to do the things that we know we need to do for the neediest of the people within the state of Ohio. I thank you so much, and I appreciate you in ways that I can never, ever say.
Is that?
I don't know if you saved the best to last. talk less than 3 minutes. I got some of their time. My name is Larry Jones, and I'm with United Negro College Fund, and I'm from the 70 Club. Now, the 70 Club, and I look around this room like I'm in the 70s, so, you're supposed to respect your elders, so I'm looking for some help in here. But I'm a